All right, good afternoon, class. So, what we've been talking a lot for the first 2 weeks of school, we've been talking a lot about our class rules that will help you be successful with our remote learning experience. Now, you guys helped me create these rules, so we created them together. All right. So, what happens though when we don't maybe follow the rules? Okay. If we're not following the rules, we will get something called a logical consequence. Okay. So, if you look down here at 3, it says logical consequence. The punishment fits the crime. Okay. So, something that would make sense with what you did that was wrong. Okay. So, those rules that we created are meant for us to follow each and every day that we're in our classroom. Okay. So, what happens if we break a rule? So if we break a rule, there may be something we will call take a break. Okay. And that also, if you think about at school when you're in the classroom, is the peace chair. Okay. And what that take a break means is we just want you to gather yourself, find your self control before it gets too bad. Okay. Even me as an adult, sometimes I have to take a break. All right. I can feel myself. I'm not focused. I'm maybe, a little bit upset about something. So I have to kind of go and take 2 minutes, take a break, and come back. So we'll talk about what that will really kind of look like when we are learning remotely. All right. The next one is number 2, you break it, you fix it. All right. So do whatever you need to make the solution right again. All right. Um, we talked a little bit about making mistakes and how we learn from them, and this is kind of that too. If something went wrong and you didn't do the right thing, you need to fix it, right? And then number 4 is the loss of a privilege. So that means that you've taken it too far. After you've taken a break, you had a logical consequence, and it's still not getting any better. You will lose a privilege. Okay. Some of the tools that we use in the classroom, such as Freckle, Prodigy, they are privileges. So some of those things, if we're not using it correctly or something like that, you may get that taken away from you. Okay, if that makes sense. I know this is going to look a lot different in our virtual classroom than it would in our actual physical classroom. But the reason that we are doing this is so that you guys can be successful and that we can all have fun and we all need to work together, okay, and all be on the same page. So we'll discuss a lot of these throughout the next week or two of what taking a break looks like. Okay. And the loss of a privilege as well. And remember, of course, if it still doesn't improve, there's also always, notifying mom and dad or sitting down with the principal and you or your parents and try to figure out how we can best help you. Okay. If there's something, that is you're not following along with each and every day, we might all have to just sit down and figure out what we can do to solve this problem. Okay. All right. So these are some of our logical consequences. What you're going to do today is you're going to watch this video, which I guess you're watching right now if you're on, and then, oh, goodness, logical consequence. So this is actually should be in your folder that I sent home on Wednesday. Okay, I'm like 99% sure this was in there. I started creating those folders 3 weeks ago, but I believe this is in there. And what this is you are going to cut all these pieces out, okay? And then you're going to read the pieces and you're going to put them under the right heading, okay? So you have to read the scenario and decide, is that a loss? Would they get a loss of privilege? Would they get a positive timeout? Or would they get a you break it, you fix it? Okay. So let's look at this one. Laura will do one together. Laura was so excited about the rabbit she saw in the playground that she ran into the classroom to tell the teacher and knocked over a stack of papers. What category would this fall under? Would she have a loss of privilege, like no recess? Would it be a positive timeout, go to the P chart, or would it be you break it, you fix it? So I'll let you think about it. You can shout out to the screen. All right. Well, hopefully you said you break it, you fix it. I think that would fall under that category, right? Because she was excited. She wasn't doing anything on purpose, but she might have to just tell the classroom teacher she is sorry. Maybe the teacher might tell her, okay, well, let's go back outside and come back in the right way and pick up the stack of papers. Sorry, there is a fire truck. So I would say that this would go under you break it, you fix it. So she might have to redo it, go back into the classroom, maybe raise her hand, ask, and wait for a teacher to call on her so that she could tell her story. Okay. So in the remote world, what would that be? I know sometimes a lot of us are so excited to share things and to like unmute and, talk about other things, but we really need to make sure that we are keeping our microphones mute and staying on task and what we need to do, okay? So I can see this in the virtual world as being also kind of you break it, you fix it. So we shouldn't be unmuting to tell me stories. We really need to kind of hold that in until we raise our hand. And if there's time, you can maybe be able to share your stories, okay? All right. And then again, for example, if, that keeps happening every day and throughout the day where you're unmuting to tell me something when you're not supposed to mute and it keeps happening and happening, then you might go maybe to a positive timeout or maybe a loss of privilege. Okay? Because one of our rules is, right, keeping the microphone turned off unless you're asked to turn it on. Okay, so I'm hoping this makes sense. I know this is very different in the virtual world, but what I want you to do is, again, cut all of these items out, put your headings on top, which are the loss of privilege, positive timeout, you break it, you fix it, and I want you to move them to the right heading, what you think would the consequence would be for that student. All right, and that is your social studies for today. And this you will be able to find if you, for some reason, it's not in your folder. I have it right here on the Google Doc that you can look at and go through and talk about it, maybe with an adult at home. All right. All right. Have a great day. Bye.